Hey YouTube fans, it's me the Storyman. Welcome to my latest video. Today I'm reading an AI generated story, but the acting, the human life, the voice acting, the ad-libbing will be done by me, a living human named the Storyman. I call this story Agatha's Prayer. So remember folks, like my videos, subscribe to my channel, and please leave comments down in the comment section below. Let's begin. Sister Agatha first heard the screams through the convent wall during evening prayer. In prayer times, you must be quiet. The sanctity of the church must be respected. No one moved. The sisters kept reciting the psalm in soft unison while boots thundered outside in the rain. In the capital city of Vespera, people disappeared every night now. Teachers, journalists, students, anyone who spoke against Chancellor Vale's regime vanished into the iron prisons beneath the Ministry of Order. It reminds me of a certain country in our world. I can't mention it because I get in trouble with the politics. I can't risk that, I'm sorry. You can figure that out on Google. Sorry, I can't mention it. I can get in trouble with YouTube again. Agatha tried to focus on the prayer book in her hands. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You don't know where that song comes from. I won't tell you. I want you to figure that out. A gunshot cracked to the sheet. Mother Superior closed the chapel doors. The prayers continued. In the Lord, we watch over us. Please ensure our safety. But Agatha's voice spoke. She was getting scared. Lord, help me. I need the shadow and death. I can't blame her for getting scared, but when you're getting shot at during prayer, it can be hard to pray, especially if you're worrying about bullets and death. The regime had ruled for 13 years, long enough that children no longer remembered elections, long enough that portraits of Chancellor Vale hung inside every classroom, every shop, every sanctuary. Priests were required to preach loyalty before scripture. Soldiers sat in the pews taking notes during sermons. You know, I can imagine this is how the government will do if they have control of the church again. They'll try to change it. There's a reason why we separated the church from state, to avoid this kind of thing. To avoid the church having too much power and misusing it, and to avoid the government misusing the scriptures of our Lord to be abused. Faith can be useful, but we must be careful. Faith can be misled, misguided, manipulated, altered. Faith must be kind and must be prayed as it is. We must remember that, or we avoid this kind of debacle. The church survived by obedience, or at least by appearing obedient. The convent of Saint Bernardine sat atop a hill overlooking the city's poorest district. The sisters fed the hungry and tended the sick, and in exchange, the regime mostly left them alone. Mostly. Well, there are sometimes they can take advantage. I ain't telling you because I can get in trouble with YouTube again. You figure that out. Use your imagination. That winter, refugees began arriving at the convent gates after midnight. A bruised printer whose underground newspaper had been discovered. A boy missing 3 fingers after refusing military conscription. A mother carrying her feverish child wrapped in a flour sack because government hospitals had turned them away. Oh boy. There's only one country that reminds me of this kind of stuff, that it happens, and it does happen, which is very worrying. And no one's trying to stop it. Maybe the Lord will help, but we must do it ourselves. There are times, prayers, we need more than prayers. We need action. Every time Mother Superior hesitated. Fair point though. I can imagine she said, "No, we cannot take any more people, please. We already had enough trouble with the government. We cannot risk it. I'm sorry, my children. I apologize." I can imagine that she would say that. Even with the power of prayer, you're not invulnerable to bullets or pain or death. And every time Agatha opened the gate, "You endanger us all!" Mother Superior warned one night. Fair point, though. If all the church nuns and sisters are gone, there's no one to preach prayer. Then faith will truly be gone. Agatha looked at the sleeping child in her arms. If faith only protects itself, she said quietly, then it protects nothing. Fair point. We must not lose faith in what we believe in. We will lose hope. Faith is what helps us get through the days. Without it, life has no meaning. We must mourn, okay? Faith is important. The first miracle happened by accident. A resistance courier stumbled into the convent after being shot in the leg. Ah, my leg! Damn! Hidden inside his coat was a list of political prisoners scheduled for execution. Way too many parallels in our world. The resistance needed to smuggle the names beyond the capital. Impossible. Every road was watched, every message intercepted, but nuns moved freely through checkpoints. No soldiers searched baskets of bread carried by gray-haired sisters. Agatha volunteered before anyone else could object. I volunteer! I know there's a reference to that, but I ain't telling. Like I said, figure that out. I could get in trouble with YouTube again. I'm sorry. She rode an old mule cart through the city at dawn, the prisoner's list stitched into the lining of her sleeve. At the eastern checkpoint, a young officer stopped her. State your business! Sister, what are you doing in the middle of the night? It better be important, or we will escort you to the prison. Delivering bread to St. Martha's Hospital, please. I am just a harmless sister of faith. Please let me food. I'm just here to give people what they need their food. Just bread. Harmless bread. He studied her papers. These papers look... Okay. Then his gaze fell upon the wooden cross around her neck. Pray for my daughter. He mumbled slowly. She's sick. I guess even soldiers still have hearts. They haven't died yet. Let's be glad that if not, there'll be like a certain regime from the 20th century that lost all faith and went to something much worse. They went to heresy. I can't tell you that because, like I said, I can't tell you that. I know what it implies. A country that forsaken even the light of faith. There's only one country that was from the 20th century. I ain't telling you. You look at Google. You can look that up. I can't risk telling it here because I can get in trouble with YouTube. I'm very sorry. I apologize. I could have done this. What's her name? No. I beg you, sister. Please, pray for my daughter. I know faith is suppressed here. I don't know what to do. I'm just following orders to protect my daughter. I beg you. This is all I have. Do not take this. I ask one simple thing. Do this, I let you through. He touched his hand gently. I will. Thank you, sister. Those words fill me with hope. The soldier let her through. The officer waved her through. That's the beauty of faith. It helps guide. Good deeds can be repaid. They help those in need, and they can come in the time of need that you need them. By nightfall, the list had reached foreign journalists across the sea. 3 days later, the regime publicly denied the prisons existed. Another country reminds me of a certain that had called black jails. I ain't telling you that country, like I said. YouTube will strike my ass. I'm sorry. The next morning, thousands marched demanding proof. For the first time in years, Chancellor Vale looked uncertain on TV. I can imagine this is like, oh Lord, what do I do? I need to think of something. Oh Lord, what do I do? Okay, calm down. They don't know yet. You are the Chancellor. You own this country. They'll do whatever you ask. Just do what you do, and everything will be fine. Or so he thought. Hope spread dangerously fast. The convent became a crossroads for the resistance. Smugglers hid radio equipment beneath sacks of potatoes. Sisters copied fan pamphlets by candlelight. Priests carried coded messages in hymn books. Agatha hated lying, but Agatha, please understand, you are living in a regime where even the truth can get you killed. Sometimes you have to be very cunning. Let's leave it at that. Just cunning. That surprised her most. Each deception sat like a stone in her stomach. Fair point though, the faith taught us we must be honest with ourselves. But in times of war and living in cruel, oppressive tyrants, that can get you killed. You can't help anyone if you're dead. You're just dead. You can't leave hope if you're just a corpse. One evening, she confessed this to Father Lucian, an aging priest who had secretly aided this next for years. I fear I'm losing my soul, she had prayed. He gave a tired smile. No. You're discovering what it costs to keep it. We mustn't lose hope, sister. In times of this, hope is more important, and it spreads faster. We must not be afraid to challenge those who are willing to do this. These kind of regimes, sister, they must fall. Remember, I am proud you believe that, but do not lose faith. Pray to our Lord. He'll guide you. I know you're doing the right thing. The Lord knows you are doing the right thing. Spring brought riots. Factories shut down. Students filled the streets protesting. Soldiers beat protesters in broad daylight while citizens watched and showed witness. And granted they're using batons and punching him in the face. I can imagine the students fighting like this. Then came the massacre at Republic Square. Government troops opened fire in an unarmed crowd. The 200 died. The crowd were screaming, running away. But they fought back. Some fought back. Some ran away in fear of death. Can't blame them though. You can't help anyone if you're dead. Death can't help you. Death is the end. Remember that. The regime declared the dead were terrorists. But this time, witnesses survived. The people are not fools, Chancellor Vale. These people are very smart. You're just incriminating yourself even further. One of them was Sister Patrice. She returned the covenant covered in blood that wasn't hers and stood trembling in the chapel before the crucifix. She said, "They shot children," she whispered, her hand trembling in fear. She had witnessed something so horrifying. This put her faith to the test. Her hand praying to the Lord, but what she witnessed was something horrible, a horrible dream. I can imagine that she would be thinking like that. When you watch something like that in your prayer of faith where peace must be accepted and loved is strong, I can imagine that could shake her to the core. But she still held on, despite trembling hands like this. She'll tremble like this. That's something I can imagine. That's something we cannot understand, okay? No one slept at night, frankly. At dawn, Agatha climbed Cathedral Bell Tower overlooking the city. She began ringing the bells. Ding! Once. Ding, ding! Twice. And again and again. Ding! 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 Across Vesperia, other churches answered. Ding! 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 Ring! The sound rolled over rooftops like thunder. The people marched. They marched in unison. People emerged from their homes. Workers abandoned factories. Shopkeepers locked their doors. Thousands flooded towards the public square, carrying candles, photographs, and the names of the dead. The soldiers waiting there seemed suddenly small. I can imagine just a few handful of soldiers against thousands upon thousands upon thousands of protesters. They can feel so overwhelmed with what they little had. They can feel kind of scared. The regime tried to arrest Agatha 3 days later. Frankly though, that makes her look like a threat. Agatha, remember, if you're doing something right and they see you as a threat, you know you're in the right path of overthrowing that regime. Remember, you mustn't be afraid for consequences. You're in the right path. You're helping those in need. Faith is something they desperately need right now. Remember that. State security arrive at the convent with rifles and warrants. Police! This is the military. You are under arrest for dissension. We have permits to prove it. You will be arrested immediately. Guards, get them! But by then, the story had spread. It was too late. Citizens crowded the streets outside the gates before dawn. Bakers, dock workers, nurses, old veterans, mothers with children on their shoulders. Human walls. I can imagine that's how the EDSA revolution came to be. That's something I would have seen. My dad was there back then. He wanted to go see the late Corazon Aquino's funeral one last time. At least to march with her. She was there during the time when that certain dictator ruled over our country. Just killed a lot of good people. Even our military stood against him. They were supposed to follow the president. It's kind of like that. I can imagine that. I wish I could have seen it, but only my parents knew what it was like back then. Maybe a fellow feeling like you would see this. Kung alam mo kung nangyari sa EDSA Revolution, sabihin mo sa comments. Paalam po. Okay? The commander demanded the crowd disperse. Disperse immediately! This is an order, or we will have to use force! Disperse now! No one moved. They put their feet down, stand there strong and defiant. Then Agatha stepped outside alone. The crowd felt silent. The commander raised a trembling hand toward her. By authority of Chancellor Vale! Agatha quietly interrupted softly. No. Her voice somehow carried across the square. You have authority because people obey. Look around you. You have no power here anymore. Fate has unified them. You have no power here. Your power is nothing. The soldiers looked. They looked. The crowd. At the faces staring back without fear now. They have lost all power. They were helpless now. One soldier lowered his rifle. They realized they have been defeated. They have lost. To shoot on their people would be unthinkable. They did it once. It did not end well. They do not want to repeat that mistake again. Then another. The commander shouted angrily, but the spell had broke. I said, use force! Disperse them now! What are you doing? Stop rolling your weapons! What are you doing? Stop! She's just a nun! An insignificant woman! Don't do this! You know what's gonna happen to us if we do? But the soldiers ignored him. A woman in the crowd began singing him. Others joined him. Apologies if I can't sing. I'm trying to sing I can. Remember, the sound effects are made by me. I'm doing the best I can. It's all me. The story is AI. The story, everything else is me. A real human being. Others joined in. The sound swelled until it drowned the commander entirely. By sunset, videos of soldiers using orders spread across the nation. Within a week, transportation workers declared a general strike. Within 2 weeks, half the military defected. Men, we can no longer follow this madman. Follow me! We fight for the people. People of Espera, if you hear us, we will follow the Chancellor no more! We are on your side. Within a month, Chancellor Vale fled the country aboard a private aircraft under the cover of darkness. We have been defeated. It's over. The regime collapsed before winter. Years later, tourists would ask Sister Agatha how she inspired the revolution. They expected grand speeches, secret strategies, prophecy. She always disappointed them. She told them just this. It wasn't me. She would say while attending the garden. People were already starving for courage. They already were striving for it. There was no strategy, no fighting, just prayer, faith, hope, and determination. But you stood against a dictator, Agatha smiled. No, no, my child. I stood beside frightened people long enough that they stopped feeling alone. Then she would return to her work among the tomatoes and herbs, while church bells echoed peacefully across the city that no longer feared them. Indeed, that's the beauty of faith. It reminds me of an old Christian story, how faith defeated a nation. I don't know when it was, but you can research it on the Bible. It may be there. I don't know. You might figure that out. But that's the beauty of faith. If done right, it can open new doors and help people at their most darkest needs. It gives them hope. It gives them faith. It gives them belief. It gives them the strength for the day, to go through their day. Remember that. And that's the end of the video. So thank you for watching my video. This is the Bookman signing out. If you like more, like my video, subscribe to my channel, and leave your comments down in the comment section below. Remember, hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel down below the video and to get daily updates from me and announcements. Comment on the comment section below on what kind of story you want me to make, and I will make it. I'll now give it as much life as I can. Any request, I will accept. Any story you want me to make, I will make it. And I'll give it as much life as I can, just by me. The story is AI, but the sound effects, voice acting, the dramatic flair, ad-libbing, sound effects are all done by me, the story man. Thank you and goodbye, goodbye. And remember, hit that like button and this thumb will reach to the end with a thumbs up. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, and this thumb will reach to the end with a thumbs up. Goodbye, 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 bye-bye.